So the mind has got like two different ways that it can go. When you wake up, and it can be going into like victim mode, where it brings up stories, this happened, that happened, and trying to, if you don't realize what's happening, you get pulled down into that victim story mode, and that just really drains your energy. And that's why it's good to get out walking, because it can just reset that tendency, and you're more just trying to stay in the flow and not interrupt the flow of walking and moving, and it's beautiful. Or biking, or whatever it is you're doing some press ups or something. And then the other opposite side of that victim thing is criticizing people, and that's a similar thing. That if it begins by criticizing people, then it can flip over into like, oh, and then playing the victim as well. It's like both of them are like two sides of the same coin. So that's where doing some daily exercise with like the service, is basically translates to love in action. And if doing like walking, just being yourself, you don't have to be extra special, but you just being yourself and doing this walking is like, that's the best thing you can do for for the world, for society. So love in action, and that's what this is. Walking and putting some devotion into there, whatever we can. And we're not just in nature, we become nature. We start to tune in, align, and vibe with nature. And that's given us that beautiful middle ground between this like criticizing or victimizing, or just lost in all of this stagnant stuff. This gives us the fluidity, the flow to move through the storm. Don't fight the storm. Go more roots grounded in exercise, and keep that regular exercise every day. Let's go. And then your roots are deep. You can go through any storm, because it's like you've got you could call it sadhana of keeping moving. And yeah, only we can take that away from ourselves if we stagnate or whatever. And the yin and the yang, one of them is like staying still, and the other one is moving. So you can't do both. It's black and white. So you got to be able to get the balance and know when to stop and rest, and know when you're being resting too much and it's time to bust out. And if you're just listening, tuned into your own body, you don't have to fight it or burn yourself out. You just follow that yin yang balance. And that's the secret. And any of people's problems in life is really just that they're out of balance. They're either too active, they're not sleeping enough or whatever, and then they get burned out that way, or sitting too much and then too much stagnation, and then that's causing issues as well. So it's just as easy as just keeping the yin yang balance with that. And then in the middle of that, then you've got, as you're active, you're not putting lots of energy, resistance, fighting into it. That's how you're doing effortless action. So you're doing your action, but you're staying chill. That's the little dot in the middle of that one. And then the black dot in the white, or whichever way around we are now, is that even when you're meditating or whatever, you're focused, you're concentrating, you're not just drifting, spacing off into those victim/criticism mindsets again. We stay in the dialed in the present moment, and that is where there is activity, although it appears like there's not activity going on. That's the other dot in the yin yang thing. So that's the key, the secret to wealth, to happiness. It's not about having loads of stuff. It's about keeping moving. So let's try to keep a little diary, see how it's going. Feeling good. Got the Osprey bag. Just feels quality. It just it cost quite a bit, so that's made me now have to use it. So, and yeah, so let's at least try to tune into like 50 days in a row to actually really set this habit to stay safe through crazy stuff like what loss and confusion and not knowing what's coming up and all of this stuff. If you're staying locked and dialed into your training and your movement, you trust yourself, because you're not just losing it and going off the rails, like over consuming because of stress. You're staying dialed into the right thing, which is healthy exercise every day. Then you trust yourself, and then it doesn't matter what's going on, because you can't control these things that are going on, but you can control the fact that you stayed in your effortless actions each day. And that's the thing to hold on to. And that was exactly what they were teaching in the monastery, you know, like hold on to the devotional service, hold on and don't let go of that service. That's what's keeping you safe. You can apply the exact same thing to walking, and of course service. You just remember that it's love in action. So not just walking complaining in the head. This is all a very conscious meditation exercise, and we've got to make sure that, you know, trying to put a little love into each step. So it's actually like staying focused and keep checking good, better, best. Where's my thoughts? Can we get them better, best into that zone of like satisfied, you know, joyful, frolicking type consciousness, and not going through the motions, grinding around the course again, because what we have to keep doing, we've got to keep the mental cultivation there, that it's actually like, you know, we remember why we're doing it. We keep nourishing the fact that we're in the safest place we can be in when we're doing exercise, gentle, mellow exercise, because we're able to just keep those illusions off our back, and stay in the moment, in the flow. And this human body, you can see the way it's pointing, the eyes, the feet, it's pointing forwards. It's supposed to be going in a, you know, we're meant to be moving around. This body can't really maintain itself unless we're doing some steps. It just tunes the mind in, and it's called kinetic therapy, I think, where you, just by staying moving, you lose so much of that mental stagnational energy. You come through to much cleaner, purer consciousness, and then physically speaking, your blood supply is getting rejuvenated with oxygen. Once you've been moving for quite a while and you're staying in zone 1 and 2, the aim of this is we want to be breathing through the nose, right? That's zone 1 and 2. We're trying to keep that going for sustained periods. That's how you build up your core strength. It's not through burning out doing heavy exercise, but it's about maintaining a mellow pace for a longer period. That is just removing so much mental disturbance and tuning you in to becoming like just naturally aligned and just feeling a lot better, feeling like just you're in the right place. So there's people coming, so there's just a few points to remind myself of what we're doing. I've got to keep reminding ourselves why. Let's go.